Our Sunday Spotlight shines this week on Robin Roberts. In her new book detailing the love and courage that pulled her through a harrowing health crisis, our friend also describes the historic interview with President Obama when he endorsed same-sex marriage for the first time. It was a landmark get at what seemed like the worst possible moment.
So May 8th, 2012, you had one of the worst doctor's visits I've ever read about.
It was the first time I was meeting with an MDS specialist. Did GMA that morning, headed to the hospital, and she was less than encouraging. I respect the fact that she wasn't sugarcoating anything.
But you called her Dr. Doom and Gloom.
Yes, and not my style. For some people that works. For me, I don't want to be told to basically, here's a shovel, start digging. I'm, as you know, an optimist. My phone had been off for a few hours.
You didn't know that everybody back here had been looking for you for hours.
I had no idea. I was just really in the zone of, I got to figure out what it is I'm facing and how I'm going to deal with it. So I leave the hospital and finally turn on my phone. And I think it almost blew up because of all the messages that were coming through.
In her new book, Robin describes an emotional roller coaster that day. First hearing that even with a bone marrow transplant, she might not survive. Then the big news that she'd scored an historic interview with President Obama.
There was a point where I was thinking to myself, do I have to do this? Can someone else do this interview? I don't know if I'm mentally in a place to do it.
That doesn't seem like it's in keeping with the whole way you've wanted to deal with this condition.
Well, I want it to be business as usual. You're absolutely right. And that's why I eventually went through with it. Mr. President, are you still opposed to same-sex marriage?
I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
Everyone in the room, you could sense, thought it was just a moment, and it really was.
You write about this in your book. There was a lot of commentary about why you were chosen to do this interview. How did that hit you?
I didn't like it. I could not remember another time when a reporter was questioned about why they were the ones selected to talk to the president. Was it because of my sexuality? Was it because of my race? Was it because of my gender? I don't know, because this is who I am. It doesn't matter who was the one asking the question, it was the answer. And that should have been what everyone was focused on.
2 years later, to have been part of this, what has it meant to you?
It's meant everything. I think that's also in part why I, at the end of last year, my Facebook posting, and was just so full of gratitude. I was just alive and happy, and I was always thanking my doctors and my sister, and this wonderful person had been right there by my side through it all. And I never had said to the public, thank you, Amber. I just wanted to do that. And I think because of, in part, from that interview and everything that's happened in this country since, and I have been, and so has Amber, we've been just overwhelmed with the support, but also grateful for the as grateful for the okay.
This is great. Thank you.
No, thanks, George.
Robin Roberts still laughing after an amazing journey. The book is so inspiring. Hope you get a chance to look at it. And we end with some good news today. The Pentagon reported no deaths of service members in Afghanistan this week. That is all for us today. Thanks for sharing part of your Sunday with us. Check out World News with David Muir tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow on GMA.